Okay. Whoop, that's the wrong overlay. Let's see. Give me one moment. There we go. Alrighty then. Give me one moment, guys, as I lower everything real quick. Hi, Pixel. Thank you. And yes, today is my 4-year streamer anniversary. So, we will be doing at least most of this visual novel for this month. Or at least try to finish it. It's a couple of hours, so it shouldn't be too bad. I just need to post the VN real quick. I wonder, oh, there it is. There it is. All right, so give me one moment. I don't know why the audio doesn't go through, but we'll play a quieter version of this. So give me one moment to post the things on the socials, say that we're live, and we will do so. I will also turn off the Bikubot and Twitch alerts, because we're going to be doing the visual novel. Hold up. Let's see. Da, 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 da. You got 101.3k points. True, but like at this point, we don't spend points during visual novels. Only games, because I don't want to interrupt the flow of the story. So that is and always have been the rule of this theme. Hold up, let's see. I know, and I appreciate it. Let's see. All right. Now we get the thingy. Get the thingies. Let's see. Use a paddle card. Lookout. That's below. Lookout's in the title. Dun, 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 dun. Get this. We post. And hashtag. Lookout VN and post. We'll do a good 2 to 3 hours of this, and we will take our next break and then do the rest of the day. My YouTube video started playing. It's fine. I'm profesh. All right. That's posted. Time to post on the other ones. Bam 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 bam. Oh yeah, that was getting this. Here. And there we go. That's blue sky. And now for YouTube. And as per usual, we promote the other way around. And post. All right. All of that has been posted. God, that pumice stone. Ugh. All right. That should be good. Should be good here. Everything's set. All right. Sorry for the delay, guys. But we are set and ready. All right. Let's lower this. Load. Bam, bam. just a bit, so it's not too loud. All right. Oh God. Okay. Jacob nodded, again drifting off into thought for a moment before coming back with his words. As I said, I'm from Pennsylvania. During the height of the gold rush, with so many heading west, many Quakers thought it would be a benefit to follow. I was much younger then, much more eager to get on the trail and spread the ideals of the Friends. Although I can't say my love for blabbing has waned much. He gave a charming and hoarse little laugh at his own jibe. The trail was very hard, but I learned much from the others in the caravans and towns and cities on the way. So much life and light. Also, howdy, Akira. Thank you for joining in. And no worries. We started late today. It's all good. I arrived in this here town maybe more chipper than I had left, but it was not to be. His expression softened, drawing into himself, emotion failing to find its way onto his face. I loathe to speak ill of my fellow man, but when I arrived, this was a godless place. The miners had little care for each other. Be it out of greed or desperation, they were consumed by the need for gold, even those who had their fill. The whole town was tense and unpredictable. Arguments, even violence would erupt whenever something valuable turned up. And a new vein of gold in the river? Oof. They take it none the wiser. Also, I don't know if I'm actually live on YouTube. Hold up. So sorry for the given pause. I just need to double check. Just to be sure. Alright, we are live, yes. Double checking. I don't have the thing popped up, so like I can't see it. Ooh. Red wine tasting time? Beautiful. They do whatever they had to get, and to get what they wanted. The night I arrived, they told me of the so-called savages that used to reside there. The very little makes my blood boil, I tell you. I'll tell you boys what, but the way the miners talk about those Indians, how happily they told me stories about the ways they drove them out. Unspeakable things I dare not and would not want to repeat to anyone. I tried explaining the Friends' way, how even the savages, as they called them, had the light of God in them, how we were equally important in the presence of God's light, that the people which share this earth with were not our enemy. They had no care for my explanations. They had no care for the needs and lives of others and themselves. It made me wonder how the Quakers' past had convinced people of the evils of slavery, of the importance of peace. But building bonds instead of destroying one another, I lost hope. I thought maybe things had changed so much. Perhaps this was the people's limit. Tolerance of those who would get in their way was no longer an option. Or perhaps I was just a failure, unable to convince a single soul of giving a damn. The old tortoise looked forlorn, brow furrowed, like he was reliving these moments so vividly that these were the same faces he wore. Then along came Sheriff. Oh, Sheriff! I was a little worried when Sheriff was first assigned to this town. Did I just have another person to fight with, someone with authority on the side of the miners? Instead, I found a kindred spirit, someone who actually listened to me and agreed with me on many things. Very quickly, we became firm friends. Eventually, Sheriff got sick of the miners, decided enough was enough, and shut down the town, forcing miners to move elsewhere. The entire time he'd been talking about Sheriff, his face was lively and lit up, his hands moving with his words. It was a lot like how your pastor used to give sermons. Surely there was a resistance to a whole mining town being packed up like that. Of course, but the sheriff did what's right. That's the way of the sheriff's soul is set. I felt buried by the weight of the town's hate. Their convictions, like stone walls I could not scale. I'll be grateful to God until the day I die that sheriff came here. I was given so much hope that I'd lost it all. And you've been there ever since? Jacob chuckled. Yes, we have. Only a handful of us stayed after the miners left, and it was hard to know whether this town would still stand. But we felt sure we could find more people who cared as long as they worked together. More people like us. His words hung in the air, settling around you and Joseph as Jacob settled his gaze on you both. So, those miners are still around? Huh? A lot of mining towns died down because of the gold drying up. But if the miners just left, I guess there's some still here. Well, yes, I suppose. I can't really say I've thought much about it in recent years. We don't encourage those looking for gold. I'm sure you understand. It's nothing but trouble. His warm gaze turned somewhat steely. You weren't sure how long it might go on for if Joseph didn't pipe up. Course, Jacob. We're just a curious bunch. Thank you for talking with us strangers so long. His stern eyes disappeared in an instant, and he humbly waved away Joseph's thanks. No, the pleasure's all mine. It's been a good talk to new ears. If you'll excuse me now, I must get this place tidied up before today's meeting. Quaker meeting? Yes, indeed. You're both welcome to join us if you like. Thank you, Jacob. But I'm thinking we'll be off anyhow. You stand up, stretching and shaking off the stiffness from your wings and tails and legs. Go well, and keep the light close to you. You both nod and leave through the same rattling door as before, catching one last glance at Jacob starting his chores before you close it. Well, we got one place left to go. Joseph stands with you for a moment in the porch of the meeting hall, looking off in town. What are you thinking? Well, we know now these folks ain't gonna put up much of a fight. Maybe some of them, but... And there's definitely gold here somewhere. Joseph had no real emotions playing across his face, but he was standing much more still than you had seen him before. Like he was trying not to breathe. Come on, we've got more people to talk to. He exhaled sharply, the feathers on his beak next to his nose hole fluttering. Yeah. You walked past the houses and people like before, but didn't feel like waving back. Let me take a chip, and then we will continue with our last choice. The dry desert air is warm in your lungs. Blazing afternoon sun breaks out the ground beneath you as you walk near the edge of town. Your throat feels tight, feet sore. There's a gentle pounding blood in your head, accompanied by a familiar piercing ache. Everything seems hazier than it usually is. Thoughts are swimming. You're fine. Just keep on walking. All right, and I'm going to take a chip and a sip for my drink. You almost bump into Joseph as he stops short, looking around, searching for anything you might have missed. You look as well, but the sun seems too bright somehow. Look down at your feet to shield your eyes, staring at the tiny dunes of your footprints in the dust. Alright, so where to now? I think there's only one place left of interest of left. You heard what he said, but didn't quite stick with you. Yeah, sure. Should we get going there then? Again, hearing, but nothing stays. Your thoughts feel like just caught fish wriggling from your hands. Alright then, let's go. Yeah, let's keep moving. Joseph starts to walk away and you follow. You try to follow, your feet move, but they don't land where you want them and you stumble a little. Joseph looks around at you as you stand there, staring at your feet again. Hey, what's the matter, partner? Oh, I feel a little dizzy. You doing all right? Didn't say anything. He placed his hands on your shoulders and twisted you to face him, looking down into your face. Yeah, you're looking a little sick there. Let's go sit down for a spell. Another chip taken, because I am the hunger. Oh. Honestly, I say it once and I'll say it again. The music in here is really good. Kudos to the music director for the music in the background, honestly. Oh. Hold up. Oh, shit. Is there no back button? He started walking with his hand on your shoulder, guiding you over to the ledge with a shallow drop you could both sit on and hang your legs over. You feel a bit better sitting down, more stable. You hear the rustle of Joseph unclipping something from the back of his belt, seeing him pull a round canteen between the two of you. Oh my god. When's the last time you had a drink? A real drink? Must be mighty thirsty if you're feeling that dizzy. Of course. How could you have forgotten? You've been riding and walking all day, but you haven't had a drop of anything since you set out. Although you weren't sure what Joseph had brought with him. What's that look for? You think I got liquor in here? He chuckled a little and unscrewed the cap, letting you smell it for a moment before taking one long gulp. Just water, see? Get it down you before you collapse or on me or something. You sheepishly took the canteen from him and gave it a little wave in his direction as a cheers. You tilt it to your dry mouth and take a deep gulp for a few seconds, licking the water hanging from the edge of your lips after. Bit warm for my liking. Can't beat cold water from a clean stream. But better than drying out like your mama's washing. You take another long swig before handing it back to him. Thank you. Don't worry about it. Just pipe up next time. Almost hit the dirt just because you didn't say anything. Sorry, it was just, we have a job here. I didn't feel like I could waste time. Pshaw. Can't even make time to sit down and drink? You're unlike most of them, Matt. Who put a snake in your boot anyway? You gotta slow down a little. Maybe. I mean, what do you do to relax when you're off the job? Relax? Yeah, you know, relax. Unwind, take a load off. I know what you mean. What you mean? The question just caught you off guard for a little. You weren't sure how to answer it. You'd never given it much thought. What do you do to relax? The gang's always busy with something. Traveling, hiding out, and making trouble. Not a lot of time to not do anything. I guess I play cards sometime. Mostly just solitaire. Respectable. You win much? Nope. Ain't about winning anyway. Just helps to pass the time. Yeah, I know what you mean. Me and the boys usually play some rounds of cards before something betting. Although some of them are some real sore losers, sometimes it's just easier to let them win and avoid the issue. I beat one of them at poker 5 times in a row, and I swear, the rest of the week he was giving me the eyes. Found my hat full of knife holes one morning too. But I think it was just to scare me. At least I hope it was. He gave a loud guffaw. The real and unrestrained kind that made you doubt a second if the canteen really was just water. He had a nice laugh, you thought. Someone actually enjoying themselves. Maybe it was just nice to hear a laugh that wasn't done at you. Uh-oh. You a gambling man? A flutter in your chest, at the end of the ribs. Not really. Never much to gamble in the first place. Always seemed like a waste. I can respect the restraint. Don't always have to be about money, mind you. When I was younger, me and Pa used to, He stopped for a moment, thinking and scratching his neck. His train of thought slowed down by some forgotten memory. We used to play cards after dinner, and a lot of days when he came home, I'd bring pebbles from the river. I always liked how smooth and pretty they look. All sorts of the colors and shapes, all them different. We kept them on the mantelpiece, and when we played cards, we bet with them. He always won, but it was too much fun for me to ever be mad. Think he did let me win though, when I was betting big, and was gonna lose some of my rocks I really liked. He always knew which ones were my favorite, and never wanted to see me cry. Can't think of another reason he would have lost to me. Suppose I ought to thank him for teaching me. You weren't sure what to say, so you just gave him a soft smile. Family could be so complicated. You didn't want to say the wrong thing, honestly. I'm scratching my back, sorry. Whew. Oh, you know what? He dug into a pocket and produced a tattered-looking packet in his hand that you recognize to be playing cards. How about we show him Vent and, you play that? Vent and Un? Un. You played that before? And we could bet with, He twists around himself looking for anything he could use to stand in betting chips. Saw his eyes settle on a small pile of rocks for a moment, but instead noticed a stray feather barely holding on to the back of his hand. He plucked it and placed it between you both, twisting how he sat to face you better. We can bet on this feather. We'll do a first to 5, and you get it if you win. And I'll keep it if I win. You swivel yourself around to sit cross-legged and face him. Didn't know you were so desperate to gamble. You'd use your own body. Hardy har. Just thought it'd be more interesting than rocks. Oh, well, I thought you were a rock lover, Mr. Rock Collector. Taking on the open road? Your own little rock circus? A regular Barnum. Joseph couldn't help but smile, even though his fake pouting at your teasing. Huh. I don't know if J.H. Barnum has quite the same ring to it. J.H.? Yeah, it's Joseph Harrier, my initials. Oh, of course. So, do you know how to play Vietnam? Am I playing cards? Not really. Nope. Alright, rules are simple. I'm the dealer, and I'll deal you 2 cards face up, and deal myself 1 face up and 1 face down. Idea is to get a high number from your cards as you can without going over. Oh, it's blackjack. It's 21. Oh, it's French for 21. If you go over 21, it's a bust. Same goes for me. But you need to get a higher number than me to win. A draw is called a push. If you can hit to get another card or stand to stick with it, what you have, you can hit as many times as you like as long as you're under 21. After you stand, I'll flip over my face down cards and have to hit as long as it's under 17. If I go bust or my number's lower than yours, you'll win. If you get 21 exactly, then you don't hit or stand, and can get a push in that case if also gets 21. Cards are worth what the number says on the face. Says face cards like king, queen, and jack are 10. Where things can get a little confounding is that the ace is worth either a 1 or 11. Ace is worth 11 in a hand unless it would be a bust, in which case it's just a 1. Ace can still be an 11 if you would let it, if it would let you win. Gets a little muddled during the game sometimes, but I ain't trying to cheat you, so don't worry about it too much. Right, let's play. Like I said, first 5 wins. Oh, I'm playing! Oh, that's a good hand actually. That's 14 immediate. You got, oh wait, that's 14 immediate. And he's got the king. It's a normal deck, so there's the chance, let's see. Wait, positive, negative. We're gonna hit. Okay. Ooh. Okay. There is a chance we can get another 3. 18, 19, 20, 21. But we need to be under 4. Because he still has a chance. He still has a chance to get above me. We stand. Winning. Dealer wins. I thought he keeps dealing until he hits it. 16. 6. Hit. I bust! God damn it. 14. Dealer's face up is also 4. Hit. 24. Jesus. Ah, there we go, 21. Alright, that's good, that's good. Oh, this is cute! 12. Okay, we're hitting. 21. 17. Still higher. That's 19. Stand. 15. 23, bus, let's go! You got a 9 of hearts and a queen of hearts, so that's 19 total. He has a 5. If we hit, we're standing. 7, 11, 12, 22, bus, let's go! Alright. That's 12, we could hit. 14, hit. 24, shit. Okay. Hit. Stand. 22, bust, we win. Dealer bust, you win this round. Darn, well, there you have it. Take your prize, sir. You took the feather in your hand, twisting the smooth quill back and forth a couple times between your thumb and forefinger. It was thin and tapered, the color of the coffee. Thick, uneven stripes of cream white ran along it from the middle. Thank you, Joseph. Don't mention it. He pocketed the feather carefully. We should probably get back to it. Long as you're happy to and can stand steady, then I'm ready to. You swung yourself onto your knees and stood up with a sprightly jump. All right, I'm ready. Let's get a wiggle on. Yes, sir. Sheriff should know something, surely. Yeah, sure. I doubt we're the only ones who've come looky-looking before. And Sheriff did say to come find him if we need anything. You walked the same direction you saw the sheriff leave. Down towards the closest edge of town, though, what might be considered the main street, where this town's bigger. Sheriff's office is a modest one, and the smaller buildings in town, a short square stone block with barred windows and a lopsided wood door. As you get close to the squat building, Joseph slows down and raises an arm to your chest to slow you as well. Okay, partner, what's the plan here? You and I both know Sheriff is going to be the most paranoid owl-headed son of a gun in this burg. We can't go waltzing in there shooting our mouth off just about anything. Yeah, you're right. All we really need is to know if the sheriff's gonna put up a fight. Somehow, I feel like they're not your usual lawmen. Want to get another sip of my drink? Cheers to everyone in chat. Gonna burp. You look around thinking for a bit. Two halves of a tattered sign swing in the wind on the chattering chains in front of the building. It seems it had the said sheriff once, and the edges of it had the remnants of bullet holes and shattered and charred wood. I'd say we tell him what's really happening. To call Joseph's face incredulous at the moment would have been an understatement. He scoffed a little out of curiosity, rubbing his chin with a feathered hand and trying to think of what you could mean. What are you saying? We're here to acknowledge the corn? Sort of. I think we can tell the sheriff that there's outlaws coming and we're worried, about the town. That's a dangerous play. Look, sheriff is gonna have a good idea why we're snooping around if we don't have a simple, honest reason to throw off the scent. It's easier to lie when there's some truth to it. Joseph rubbed his chin again and sighed. I think so too, but still can't help feel jumpy walking into that lion's den. You knew what he meant. For people like you, a sheriff's office was never where you wanted to wind up. Walking in the office together, Joseph ducks in to clear the doorway. You find yourself inside to be much more well kept than the outside, which is clearly has seen some wear and tear in its time. Sunlight and dust as equal measures came in through the windows, landing upon the desk of the sheriff, who was currently rapidly filling a piece of paper with pencil in hand. After you close the door behind you, you both wait for a few seconds for the sheriff to notice you. Before he can politely knock on the closed door for attention, the sheriff raises a finger on the pencil, holding a hand to ask for a moment's more waiting. This was following by a hasty scribbling on the end of the piece of paper before the pencil was thrown onto the desk with little regard. Two keen eyes landed on you and Joseph. Howdy there, fellas. Thought I might see you again. Howdy again, Sheriff. Now, what can I be helping you both with today? Well, Joseph turned to you, locking eyes. You saw a slight wild panic of someone caught in the trap and looking for a way out. Do you protect this town? Sheriff looked miffed, unsure to how to respond, like someone had just asked if the sky was blue. As much as anyone else who lives here, yes. What does that mean? I thought you were the lawman. Sheriff regarded you with some annoyance, still seemingly puzzled over what you were asking. I think I see the confusion here. I'm not a lawman. In fact, I say I'm not a man at all, or a woman. Sheriff kept looking at both of you, trying to gauge your reaction, whether you could be trusted. You get. My name is Sheriff. That is the moniker I've chosen, and I'd ask you kindly to refer to me as so, or not at all. Joseph tipped his head politely. Not a problem, Sheriff. Do you run this town then? That would also be a no. I'm a founder, you might say, but I don't solely run this town. You boys are asking some real strange questions. Is there something I ought to know? Joseph faltered, and now you did too. This is not what you just planned. You were just saying in the first things that came to mind, fixing on Sheriff with a calm pair of eyes, but the shakiness in me. Maybe you had hoped the Sheriff would say something that would change what you were both there for. Before you could fall over, Joseph placed a hand on your shoulder and you tensed before he gave it a light squeeze, stepping in. Well, heard from some other fella on the trail that there were some outlaws around, coming this way even. I see. Well, you boys shouldn't worry. We know how to take care of ourselves in clemency. We don't get trouble around here often, but we make sure to run them off before anything starts. You've been here for a while then? Yeah, ages. How'd you end up living here anyhow? What's the story? You said you're some kind of founder? Don't get it twisted now. I'm not really a founder. Well, hard to explain. I used to be a marshal. Got sent here 30 years ago already? And you liked it so much you stayed? Joseph gives a little bellow of laughs, but Sheriff is much more half-hearted. No. I wish I could say things back then were as good as they are now. Sheriff stood up, grabbing the cane by the desk that thumped softly as Sheriff started pacing a little through the small office, stretching his stiff legs. You boys know this used to be a mining town, right? Of course. Well, I used to be a lawman of the mining town. Greenhorn out there, first assignment, trying to keep the peace in here. What a joke. The miners here had it out for each other. There was nothing but bad blood and gold fever. I learned all too well during that time what it looks like. Gold fever in their eyes. And what people will do to satisfy it. That town was a constant powder keg and I was only one marshal. Felt like there was nothing I could do. I felt like I needed to do more, but I needed to do something to calm this place down. I've asked the marshals who sent me. They don't give a hoot. If anything, they tell me to keep hands off and let them figure it out themselves. Shoot them if they step too out of line. That never sat right with me. If there's something you should know about me, about how I conduct my business and take care of this town, is that I care about justice. Real justice. Not the justice others stuck up to claim to care about. I learned very quickly that the law is not about real justice. Sheriff punctuated the words and said with such fire, with bangs off the cane of the floor, the law of the marshals is not the justice I'll recognize. It's why I took the name Sheriff. I wanted the name for myself. They didn't deserve it. Strange, I know. Thank the Lord, much good he done me, that I met at least one like mind in this town. Sometime in the winter, when we had a caravan arrive in town, people who had been traveling long across the trail needed somewhere to stay for a spell. Had some to sell as well, furs and such, and anything to help get by. Friendly folks, I enjoyed their company. Spent a night drinking around with them around the wagons. The miners didn't take kindly to them, didn't trust them. That was a week I'll never forget. Constant accusations of stealing, flare-ups, and shouting matches almost ended in a drawn irons. The miners were so darn jumpy and owl-headed about the slightest thing. 3 days later, a miner turns up dead, stabbed in his sleep. The miners all accused one of the traders for doing it. A Mexican fella claims it was his knife that did the deed. I had to arrest him. Held him in a cell here. A tap of the somewhat old rusty metal bars with the cane rang into the room. The traders all came to tell me that I was wrong, that he'd never do something that sort. They helped me push me in the right direction. I'd already had some suspicion about the miners' claim. A lot of the accusations have been flying around about the Mexicans and the Indians traveling in the caravans. I did a little investigation and found that the miners had been killed by one of his friends. Another feud about gold, some stolen or missing, and his so-called friend had killed him for it. The miners wouldn't believe it, insisted the man in the cell was guilty. I wonder if maybe they just couldn't see what I could. See the thing through my eyes. It felt like a mockery of justice, of everything I cared about. That was the last straw that broke the camel's back. Early the next morning, I asked traders to leave and take their friend with them. Sheriff noticed how intently you both are listening, watery eyes flicking between you both. Anyway, that's a lot of blabbing from me already. Long story short, I kicked the miners out for the better. You make it sound like it was real easy. How'd you get that many miners to just abandon the gold? I did what I had to, and I have no regrets or weight on my soul for it. Really, getting them out, that was the easy part, I suppose. We moved and rebuilt some of the town further from the mines. We all wanted a fresh start. The years since then have been hard, very hard. I don't have to have this stick because I've been sitting on my jollies and gazing at sunsets. This town may be small, but it's a lot of work to keep going. Sheriff turned and went and sit at his desk again, the chair creaking beneath the old bones. Don't take my griping to think I'm not thankful for this place, though. I've done a lot for it, but it's done just as much, more even in return. How'd you mean? I can't say I've ever really had somewhere I live do much for me. Sheriff sighed softly, looking out the window into the town, a clear view of the cobbled-together houses cascading down the shallow hillside. Clemency has given me somewhere to live. I have many hopes when I choose to stay in this town to try to make something of it. I've worked hard to earn the respect of those who live here as a person, not as an authority. People here don't see me as an oddity. They don't fear me, they don't mock me or interrogate others for how they live. This ain't just a community, it's a family. We're all far from our homes, from the people who made us, but there we can make ourselves what we want to be. A town of runaways who don't got to keep running anymore. Oh my god, I'm getting goosebumps from both the AC and the storyline. Give me one moment, guys. I'm gonna turn off the AC. God. I probably did. How long have we been streaming this? Hold up. I forgot the timer once more. Yep. All right. Been 6:30. So about like 38 minutes or so. So I would say 3:20. 20, 18, 31. 50 minutes. All right, 5, 6, 7. So that'll be 20. We'll keep it like that. 3, 20, 20. There we go. My fault. My apology. Thanks, Akira, for telling me. Whew. Turning back to you. Sheriff pulled back into the desk and got comfortable once more. Anyway, that's enough said from me. Those outlaws all you want to talk about? Yeah, I think so. You wish you had more questions to ask, more to say, more to hear, but no other words escaped your maw except for, thank you. Don't mention it. And thank you, too, for the tip-off. I'll keep these old peepers peeled.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you for talking, Sheriff. We'll be on our way now, but I did have one more question for you. You still friends with those marshals? In contact with them?
I quit the day I rebelled against the miners. Never heard from them again.
Joseph nodded, tipping his hat, and Sheriff tipping in turn. He stepped out the station into the blinding sun together. Oh my god, stretch my leggies. Let me have a chip. Let me have a auto chip real quick. Oh my god, I'm sorry. I'm snacking also because like I only got a little when I went out to get food. I only got a little snack. I'm trying to make this last. Walking back to the edge of town on the other side from the sign you knew read Clemency, you both sit on the edge of the little hillside slope, kicking dust up yourselves as you settle on the rocky crevice. I think that's all the useful places of interest here, unless you want to go knocking on folks' doors asking for gold.
I think we've disturbed this a lot for enough for a day.
Your resting hand becomes restless as it brushes against some dry desert grass, entwining it between your fingers and slowly pulling it from its roots.
So, what did we actually figure out? Everyone here is kind and mostly defenseless.
I think pacifist is the word. You tug more of the grass up in your hand. They can maybe fight off some bandits, but no officers are gonna come help. They ain't gonna do much good against a whole gang.
And there is gold here somewhere in some forgotten mines no one's seen in decades.
Well, it's gotta be around here. This is a mining town, for Pete's sake. How far could it be? You shrug.
Sheriff said the town was moved. The mines could be anywhere now. Maybe it was just rumors. Maybe there's not really anything to find here.
I think you know as well as I do that these folks are antsy. Friendly as well, but gold gets their hackles up. Someone has to know where the mines are. You knew he was right. You knew how to read people well enough. Joseph stood up, gazing across the landscape of the town and beyond, searching toward the horizon.
Gonna make use of those special eyes of yours, bird brain?
More use than you chasing your tail, mutt. He looked at you for a moment with a smirk, and you smirked back. You rolled the grass in your hands between your fingers, squashing the reeds of it together, dropping seeds in the sand. I can't see nothing. Goddamn sun in my eye. Ain't helping either. I don't know if Bartholomew would help out. He was maybe the most friendly of the bunch. Sheriff didn't even talk about the gold.
Because the sheriff knows how to keep the town safe.
You look up at Joseph, his puzzled face squinting in the sun, looking down at you. Looking back out into the desert, the sun sits between two rocky outcroppings in the distance, a light bulb plucked from the sky by unmoving fingers. It'll start getting dark soon.
Sheriff knows where the mines are. Bartholomew said he never saw them, and Jacob was never a miner. He had no reason to go to the mines.
What, so he never saw him? That don't make no sense.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that even if he did see them back then, he wouldn't remember where they are now. Sheriff still knows where they are because they're the biggest danger to the town. I'd wager Sheriff even checks up on them every so often to make sure it's undisturbed.
Huh. I guess that checks out. We don't have the time for a stakeout, though.
You balled your hand into a fist, the grass yielding and turning to dust.
We don't need to know where they are, anyway. We just need to know where the mines would just be a penny in that. We don't need to know where they are anyway. We got all we need. Knowing where the mines are would just be a penny in the hat. You should think about our next move.
You ignored the tiny knot in your stomach as you thought about what to do next. You should just leave, but there's nothing else to do here. We should just think about resting. It's getting dark soon. I think we should stay at the saloon. Sheriff did offer.
Sure you want to stay here for the night?
Seems like the least we can do before we leave. Unless camping outside is some mighty appeal to you. Joseph flashed a worried smile.
All right, let's go have a look first. No point bringing the horses down if I can't afford the rooms.
Standing up, you feel the dust fly between your fingers and with the wind blowing east, and follow Joseph a few paces behind. You walk towards the saloon again, looking forward to having somewhere to rest. You don't remember the last time you actually stayed in a room somewhere. It was always a tent, or just your bedroll, lying beneath the stars. You see Sheriff and Bartholomew standing on the porch of the saloon talking intently, but can't pick up any clear words on the wind. Sheriff notices you both as you approach, patting Bartholomew on the back as he takes his leave back inside. Sheriff leaves the shade of the saloon overhang, walking with purpose towards you both. The blue of the sky was starting to fade into oranges and pinks on the edge of the sparse and tiny clouds overhead. You both slow to a stop as Sheriff approaches you quickly. The face approaching you was different from before, and you see Joseph's face fall a little. Sheriff came to stop in front of you both, twisting the cane in the dirt a little. The old and frail figure standing in front of you was shaking a tad. You could hear slow and deliberate breaths from his chest. The usual confidence and bluster of Joseph dissipated under the new glare of the sheriff. The new and sharp eyes, unlike those you'd seen when you arrived. There was a little tiredness in them, a fierce tiredness, beneath which was a wild look you'd only seen in the eyes of the newly grieving. Gripping the cane, scale knuckles turning white, Sheriff spoke in a low and calm voice. Yeah, should have known. Thought maybe I was wrong this time. Y'all seem so, I don't know, like you should be here. Even so, I knew there's something off with what you were asking.
Is everything all right, Sheriff? We were just going to see if we could stay at the saloon.
Sheriff slams the cane to the dirt with so much force you feared it might crack the earth beneath. You know damn well things are not all right. I had a little chat with my friends around town talking about the newcomers, what they've been asking about. Just passing through town. Give me a break. I should have known it was too good to be true. I know when I see the gold fever in them eyes. We're not here to cause trouble, Sheriff. We'll be on our way tomorrow morning. Really now? Well. Sheriff reached a free hand behind and pulled an old revolver to point at you. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it once. I made a promise to protect this town and the people who live here, that I would do what was right by them. So both of you are going to turn tail and leave right now, and you never come back. And if I ever see either of you heading this way again, I will shoot you dead before nary fur or feather crosses this town line. You stood still next to Joseph, a small fear of walking taking hold as you feel like the wind might knock you off your feet.
Understood, Sheriff.
Joseph starts walking away, not stopping for you, even as you stood there for a moment longer just to say one word. Sorry. You knew that didn't make up for it, but it was all you could muster from your tight throat. You turned quickly and walked away after Joseph with your head down, staring at your feet as they rhythmically sped one after another through the dust tracks of a town you couldn't come back to. All right, we're going to save here and we're going to take a 15-minute break to check on the dogs and to just get a little bit more food in us. When we return, we will continue. So, with that being said, we will be back in 15 minutes. All right, everyone? Stand up, stretch, get some water, use the bathroom. We'll see you guys in just a moment, all right? BRB. Doo-doo. All right, we are back. There we go. We are back. I found some leftover cheesecake. So that's a little fun for me. That's a little thing for me. A little treat just for me. All right, let's head back in. Oh my god, a lot of cheesecake down my throat. Give me 1 second. My goodness. The climb back out of the valley was quiet. The wind was the only noise to reach our ears. And I forgot to turn off the audio for the Biku Bop because DB, you know better than to redeem things during a visual novel. You know better. I thought you knew better, DB. I guess all just in fun, but you know better. Hmm? So yeah, I'm gonna refund that to you in a bit. Just give me 1 moment. There's a lot of things I have to like get back. Yeah, I know. It's all good. All good. Don't worry about it. All fine. Did the title not change? All right. The climb back out of the valley was quiet. The wind was the only thing to reach our ears. No words coming to pass between you and Joseph. Only the occasional meeting of the eyes when he looked to make sure you hadn't fallen behind. Have a good night, Akira. Enjoy your wine. Those eyes, that face you have grown accustomed so quickly to having at least a hint of a smile resting, was devoid of much emotion at all. He wasn't thinking about it, but you felt, but to not think about it meant to not think at all. And so he didn't, his limbs carrying him up the path, but no one was home. You understood, of course. As much as you'd like to not think about it either, you couldn't ignore that small dread in your chest, like it was in the cavities of your inside, seeping around and between your organs and creeping tar. Not a suffocating tar, just making you feel heavy, dense. If you stopped walking now, you didn't know if you could start again. The sun was starting to dip in the horizon when you reached your original meeting meeting spot on top of the cliff. Both your horses were laying in the long shadows of some rocky mounds, and your own shadow stretching across the sand as you go to tend to them. You both hauled your bedrolls off and started to unpack them, giving the horses some water and sorting out through your belongings. Still, without a word, a camp for the night quickly formed between you as you worked. Joseph had brought a thin metal stand with him to hang the cooking pot over, and gently tossed you his book of matches as he erected it. You struck the match in a familiar fashion, placing it in the middle of the dried assortment, blowing gently to encourage the shy flames. Lifting your head back up from your building fire, Joseph was having a little issue getting his stand to, stand. His face was still the same neutral, empty face from before, and you noticed a little catch on the joint that hadn't flipped properly. You brought your hands up to flick it out of the way. Either the lurch or the stand falling into place or the momentary touch of your hands against his seemed to jolt Joseph out of his listless state. Thank you. Smile, just a small one. A weary and wary one had returned to his face. You were glad to see it again. It was enough to make your chest a little lighter, the tar receding just a touch. With the fire lit, a modest plume of smoke started billowing into the sky and scattering in the fading sunlight. Joseph got up momentarily to rummage in one of the saddlebags, coming back with a tin and some bundled cloth. I've got some beans, some salted pork too. Not sure what you got with you. Oh, right, yeah. Hold on. You had plenty of water still, and if you was propping up the bulk of the meal, you had some molasses to add too.
You brought them both over and let Joseph, sitting on the bedroll he'd laid out now, take the reins. Wasn't really a two-person job. With the beans gently cooking away now in the pot, he sat there, lazily staring at it with a spoon. You grabbed your bedroll and laid it out on the opposite side of the fire, squatting and dropping onto it with a thud, tucking your legs towards you, resting your head on your knees, holding them in your arms. The two of you sat like this a short while. I'm glad that sound effect did not come through. The two of you sat like this for a short while, watching the pot steaming away, the orange flames licking the underside of the well-used metal. Welcome, AM. Yes, it's the silly cowboy cuties over here. What you missed so far is that they got kicked out of town as they got found out that there were bandits with them, that they were part of the bandits. We found out a lot, and it looks like they actually lacked a town and wanted safety for it. But they got kicked out before they could say anything else. All good, don't worry. I'm here. Just listen to the sound of my voice and we celebrate our 4-year anniversary on Twitch. You found yourself thinking about what happened in Clemency without even realizing it. The pang you felt in your stomach when Sheriff knew why you were there. The sharp chill that shot from your neck to your tail when the gun was pulled on you. You weren't scared of being shot. That wasn't it. That wasn't what set your palm into a cold sweat. Or something else. Something about having to leave that town. Sorry for letting you down so much, letting you do so much of the talking today. I'm much more of a quiet type. Sure, you figured that out already. He flashed you a weak but genuine smile. Not like I did us much good. It wasn't your fault, Joseph. Sheriff was paranoid, and we were bound to get rumbled eventually. Besides, doesn't really seem like there is any gold here. Unless we feel like setting up a new mining operation. Yep, I'm sure the Black Vulture will love to hear that. It's my fault, I'll say. He sighs, sharp, exasperated exhale through his nose holes, one knee of his crossed legs fidgeting, bouncing as he stirred the pot. You were a little taken aback that he seemed to be mocking what you said. Maybe it just wasn't what he wanted to hear right now. Still, you understand his frustration. What would your bosses think if we told them what this place was like? Would they even believe us? Sorry. You were snapped from your thoughts by his apology, a slightly guilty look on his face, knowing he must have seen that he hurt your feelings just a little. You're right. It's not my fault, exactly, but hell, this is a mess, Robin. His fidgeting was spreading, playing across the feathered fingers of his wings, on his face, his eyes, his knees again. Like a ragtime tune was playing all across the inside of his body. What's he like, the Black Vulture? He's his breathing was ragged too. You got onto your knees and reached your hand onto his that was stirring the spoon even now, a gentle but firm grasp, stopping its motions. Your eyes met over the cooking pot. He looked like he was seeing you again for the first time in a long time. The shaking in his hands came to rest and relaxed its vast grip along the spoon as you held each other's gaze. Let's go. I'm here. It's all right. He nodded a few times, taking his hand away and resting on his haunches, stretching his legs out. A few moments passed as Joseph regained his calm, laid-back demeanor. One leg bounced a little, a quick rhythm, tapping the dance hall tune.
I'll stay focused. Don't worry. Thank you so much, AM. The sun was almost gone now. The last dregs of its light in the desert turning everything in the distance a single dusty red. You'll see the stars now as you look to the sky, the light continuing to fade. More and more points of light dotting their way to the east. You turn your eyes away from the sky when you heard the sound of a penknife flicking open. Oh, don't mind me. Don't mind me none. Just doing a little preening. He started taking the knife gently to his wing, very gently. He seemed to be scraping away older feathers while also opening new pin feathers scattered across his wing, and the motions almost like shaving. Forgive me if I'm talking out of line, but why don't you use your beak for that? Oh, well, Mama always told us you don't use your beak for things around anyone other than family or lovers. They ain't polite. He seemed a little sheepish, admitting it, like it was an uncommon quirk of his family. You ask about the Black Vulture, yeah? Don't you know the stories already? Yeah, but those are just stories. I know what it's like riding with someone with a few tall tales trailing behind them. Joseph snorted a little, still making his way across the wing with his small knife. Yep, that sounds about right. Pretty sure some of the more flattering ones I've heard were left behind by the vulture himself. You settle on your side of your legs a little, getting more comfortable as you kept stirring the ever-cooking pot. Where to begin with this man himself? Jeez. He's a real piece of work of that one. I can tell you that much for sure. He's a city slicker that considers himself a cowboy, even though he hates getting his boots dirty. Acts like all gentlemen like and such. Real flannel mouth. He'd charm the pants off of you if you had something he wanted. Then, when he got what he wants, he jabbed the knife towards you pointedly. He'd stick you in the back and twist it hard to hear you cry. Turn the knife back to Preenan. He's a terrible shot, too. There are some stories that he could shoot the cap off a bottle without spilling it from 50 paces. But he ain't a sharpshooter, never. He almost as bad a shot as me. Got someone else for that. See, that's how you run into his posse. You make yourself indispensable. He tapped his knife on the ground through the board to make this point. His gang is on the smaller side, but they're plenty loyal. They need to be. There can't be anyone else. You're loyal then? Huh. I'm the eyes. I'm useful. I get on a good with a lot of them, and Black Vulture keeps me around. Win-win. You understood what he was saying, what he meant, what he really wanted to say. You understood how it felt to be under that kind of looming shadow. No one for miles around, but don't say anything just in case. You'd seen what happens to other people. You both had for sure. Joseph was as far from Greenhorn as could be. He swapped hands and started the knife on his other wing now. So, what about that curly wolf? You said there were plenty of tall tales about him. Split fair with me? He didn't look at him when he asked. He kept looking at the pot, peeking over to check the beans. This looks about done to me. Joseph stared at you for a moment when you didn't meet his eyes, and then closed up his knife, kneeling over to look at you with an approving whistle. Whew, yeah, that looks it to me. You laughed a little as his stomach gave a hearty growl, fetching the bowls and holding them while Joseph served you both a big, slopping portion. Night had come now, and you both gathered a little closer around the fire and moved the pot stand to the side. You could see him easier now with it out of the way. The pot lifted, the fire rose, dancing in the wind, something hazing your view, the blur flitting in and out as you glanced eyes while you ate. Believe me, believe it or not, but I ain't the cookie back at camp. Someone else got that privilege. He was clearly joking, but the beans were some of the better you had. I never would have guessed. I don't cook that often, but I'll make some mean donuts from time to time.
Oh, you do now? Oh, I have to try them.
I hope so.
It was so selfish to ignore the question. Say nothing about Curly Wolf? So rude of you. You weren't raised like this. You couldn't, though. Never. But more like you didn't know what to say. How many years has it been now?
Sorry. I should have said something when you asked me about my boss.
I'll get it.
No, I mean, of course you do, but it's also that when I said I was the quiet type, it's more than that. If I'm shooting straight with you, I don't remember the last time I heard my own voice before today. At the camp, I might say yeah or no, but I don't really talk. And when I'm away on lookout, there's just no one to talk to. I don't want to talk to myself and just be reminded I'm alone. I've never talked about him. I wouldn't.
Joseph looked straight at you. Even into you, it almost felt like you could see the fire between you and in his eyes, flame fluttering across the irises. The intensity of his look gave way to something like relief.
Nah, don't worry about being quiet one. I think it's part of your charm. There are lots of wannabe tough guys who want to act like you with no sweat. That strong, silent act. Besides, guys back home are always telling me to shut up. Not that I give them the satisfaction. I can tell you that being quiet doesn't change things. Same horse shit regardless of whatever you make a fuss.
You sigh, a long sigh. What words could you even use for a man like him?
Curly Wolf is a bad egg. I think sometimes he was born like that. I know he can't have been, but I don't know what godforsaken things happened to him to turn him into the way he is. He's probably the meanest, roughest bastard you'll ever have the misfortune of meeting. Anyone you can think of that you wouldn't want to run into, he's worse than that. I don't know about Black Vulture, but the stories Curly Wolf leaves behind, I don't think I can even match up to how dangerous he is. I seen him gun down traders riding away on horseback 200 paces away. It's easier to get his dander up. And he's the last person you ever want to do that to. He'd make sure of that. Not the brightest you ever met, but his instincts are keen. He never made an empty threat, and he'll happily get his hands dirty to make good on them.
Ugh. Shit. Black Vulture said before he'd be willing to pick a fight with Curly Wolf, but they never met. Now I'm wondering if he has any idea what that would get him into. He ain't stupid, but he's definitely too cocky for his own good. Oh, eat your bowl before it get cold. No worse than a cold food.
You did as he said, mulling over what you talked about for a while you ate. Joseph had a head start on you, but even so, his eating was voracious. And he finished before you were even halfway through yours. He sat back from his hunch over the bowl, wiping his beak on his arm. He looked around some into the fire, out into the darkness of the desert, at you. You could tell he didn't want to stare, but his eyes took you in a way with long glasses. Took you long in anyway with his long glances. He coughed, clearing his throat to stall for the words he was thinking of.
Say, Robin, I wanted to ask.
He grabbed his knife again, taking it to his wing once more, looking away as he asked a common question. I'm gonna raise my chair. Oh. Comfy is hunched over and should not be hunched back. He grabbed his knife again, taking it to his wing once more, looking away as he asked a common question.
Your arm, I hope you don't think me cruel for asking, but what happened? Did he do that to you?
You were pretty used to the questions about it, but you appreciate the genuine warmth behind his words at least. This whole thing? Yeah, it wasn't pretty. It was a practical joke of sorts, if you call it that, but some of the guys during a camp took my banana and shoved it in my mouth, shoved it in the mouth of one of the horses, egged me on, like, to get it back, reached my hand in, and of course the horse gets all antsy and bites down, starts thrashing, trying to get away. I don't remember much after that, blacked out from the pain. Next thing I know, I'm being hauled to some doctor. Told me they had to amputate for it putrefied. Joseph had stopped preening at that point, looking at you with some real watery eyes and a soft expression on his brow of both anger and horror. Got the bandana back. It was a bandana. Got the bandana back. So, you know, win some, lose some.
I'm sorry.
Nothing to be sorry for. Long time ago. You just live with it. Full and finished. You sat aside your bowl, taking another appraisal of your surroundings, looking up to the sky and its carpet of stars. Also now thinking about it, why the fuck would they go back in the horse's mouth for a banana? Why'd I say banana? God. It was quickly starting to get cold, so you got up and went to your horses, fishing some blankets out for them. Looking inside the bag, you couldn't find your usual extra blanket for yourself. Shit. Must have forgotten to take it before you left. You spied your binoculars in there, you took them, and walked to the edge of the cliff again. You're about to put them up to your eyes when you realize you didn't need them to see what's happening to Clemency. The whole town was dark, except for the bright lights prominently shining from the saloon. You saw that the shallow silhouettes of people dancing play out across the street in front, and if you listen very closely, music.
Seems like they're having a ripping, roaring time.
Yeah. I wonder if they would do it tonight, like Bartholomew mentioned.
Why wouldn't they? What have they got to be worried about?
His voice a little cold, blunt. Ice cubes in the drink bumping your teeth as you sip. You know, out of all the towns I've been kicked out of and run out of, this is the only one I'd want to come back to.
This place ain't for us. Trouble, Robin. We're no good for these folks. Tomorrow, we'll be gone. Tell our bosses we didn't find anything, and if we're lucky, they'll just go on their way. Maybe in another life, we could have gone back there. Would have been nice. But this is our life. Our only one. It is what it is. We move on. That's how we live.
You can feel the wind blowing behind you, ruffling your trousers, whistling past your ears as it seemed to push you towards the edge of the cliff. Yeah, I guess it is. The wind kept howling, picking up and dying down, whistling off the valley, and kicking up clouds of dust around the buildings down below. Curly Wolf is gonna ransack this place, even if they don't have anything.
And what do you want me to do about it, huh, Robin?
It's not my problem. You feel now the desert night on you. Your fingers, the tips of your ears, starting to feel the tenderness of the cold and the wind. You're shivering. You shouldn't have talked back to him. You knew how they always went, and it never ended well. You just made him feel worse. It was his fault. Why should he have to listen to your stupid concerns? It was your shit to figure out. He owes you nothing. You just met. You don't know each other. If it weren't for the convenience, you would have shot each other hours ago. You heard the sound of shuffling behind you as he got up. He started walking towards you. Here it came as you knew it would. You tense up as he approaches, closing the distance, expecting the due anger. Closing your eyes when you feel him at your back, ready for that blow that's about to come. You flinch when you feel a weight around your shoulders, a squeeze of them too that you'd expect to hurt, but it's so tender, it couldn't possibly. Opening your eyes, you see a thick blanket draped around you, down to your knees.
You look cold. Don't want to get consumption just standing there. You know how cold the desert gets. You drop the binoculars gingerly by its strap to the floor, now clasping the edges of the blanket with your hand tighter around you. You feel how cold your fingers were just below your chin, also numb, almost numb. How long have you been standing here for?
I'm dreadfully sorry.
You got nothing to be sorry for. You and he sat back down by the fire, Joseph giving it a 1,000-yard stare.
Thank you.
Nothing to it. Get warm.
You pull the blanket tighter against again. The desert chills still sweeping underneath. Are you not cold?
I've been around the fire all night, haven't I? I'm fine.
He's lying. You can see his feathers twitch and shiver, but he's trying hard to hide it. You wonder the truth of what he said too, that we just have to move on. Standing up with the blanket, you walk around the fire, standing over him for a moment as he looks up towards you with wide eyes. You sweep the blanket around him and sit down, shoulder to shoulder. You are right. He's definitely cold, but a lot warmer than you'd imagine. Oh. I don't want to skip this scene. It's so cute. We're very like wholesome sounding right now with the music. If I click back, it's gonna immediately change to the next scene. But this is so cute.
I told you I'm fine.
Don't give me that blow, tough guy. I know you're not. He looks like he's going to say something, but just shuts his beak. He suddenly seems a lot warmer.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't want. I didn't mean what I said.
I know. That wasn't the fella I've been around all day.
I'm just
scared. He nods softly as to be almost unnoticeable.
Yeah, more scared than I have ever been.
Together, you huddle, bringing the blanket tighter, tighter, moving closer to each other. He smells like the desert, dusty and sweaty. Why is this so warm? Why do you feel like this? Not warm like you're around a fire, but like there's a fire inside you. Warm coals shifting around inside, and embers spitting in your throat. Have you ever felt like this before? Joseph, He looks at you. Your faces so close together. You lean your head into his shoulder, staring into the wild dance of the fire. I haven't met someone like me before, or someone like you. You're extremely kind, even to a stranger like me. I wish I could know you more than these few hours. I know I have to ride horseback in the morning, but of all the hopes I've hoped, the strongest is that I could just stay here. That the sun would never rise. I don't want to go back. You stay clinging to him. After a few moments, he pulls you tighter.
I have to say, I feel the same way. I could see in you someone who's faced so many hardships. Someone who deserves better. Who's worked harder than any of the lump suckers back where you come from. We're a couple of queer fish in a barrel, I'd say. Lord knows how we found each other. The sun will come up again, and we'll have to go our separate ways. We don't have another choice. I just wish it wasn't so. I wish.
You lift your head to look at him, but he just gives you a look and turns back to the fire. What are you thinking? He sighs, wearily, like he's been asked to carry the world on his back. It's a flight of fancy, that's all. It's not realistic. You look at him curiously, catching his eyes. He looks at you almost for approval before he thinks about what he wants to say.
I wish we could just run away. That's it. The two of us, far away from everyone and everything. Right east till we know no one's chasing us. That sounds nice. You both cuddle for a little while longer, sitting close and resting your heads together. The thoughts of running away tick over in your minds. Is that what you want? As if he could read your mind, Joseph asked, "What do you want to do?" You thought more. No one has ever really asked you that. And even so, you knew what you wanted to say. I'm tired of running, Joseph. I want to fight. I want to kill Curly Wolf. Really? It's the only way I can think of to be free of him. You know as well as I do, you don't get to just up and leave. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to be free of Black Vulture too, but do you think that's something you could do? Kill him? I can't do it alone. Our gangs, Joseph, are gonna destroy this town. And if we ran away, we'd never be safe. We'd be looking over our shoulders the rest of our lives. I don't want to run away from things anymore. I want to run towards a better life with you. Joseph's eyes were sympathetic, but his expression was of discomfort. I think you're right, and I do want to help you, but I'm useless in a fight. I can't shoot straight. I don't want to die, Robin. I won't let that happen. I'll keep you safe. We can keep each other safe. We haven't been living our lives, Joseph, just surviving. Something's better than this. Worth dying for, I think. A fight feels inevitable. We should face it. You're really that desperate to get out? You nod, head held against his shoulder. He sighs that same sigh again, long and heavy, almost theatrical if it weren't for the stakes laid out before you both. I think you're right. A chance like this won't come again. I might even be tempted to call it fate. We should talk to Sheriff again. I think somehow, if we can. He yawns. I don't know what we're gonna do, but we ain't gonna figure it out when we're bone tired. We should get some sleep. Come morning, we'll talk more. Figure something out, and then hope on a kiss and a prayer that we make it out alive. He chuckles. Ain't that the story of our lives? This'll be the last time we have to fight like that. I swear it. You both fall asleep against each other, dreaming of that promise, praying for a better tomorrow, and willing to fight for it. I think that's a good stopping point to save and then continue next time for the YouTube side. So yeah, we're going to take another 15-minute break for the Twitch side, but on YouTube, thank you all for listening in and watching. I hope you stay comfy cozy in this owl cottage. This won't be the last time we play it, don't you worry. We'll play a couple of more times next week as well. Then after that, we do have to say we're going to take a week break because it is Pride Month, and the end of Pride, we always march. So, with that being said, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell icon, would you? To get notified on the next video that's coming out. And the next video, hopefully, will be Bounty's Call tomorrow, as well as maybe a podcast. We'll see what happens. We couldn't do the Pokemon yesterday, so that's on me. So, with that being said, everyone, stand up, stretch, get some water, get some food. We'll be right back in 15 minutes, alright? Be right back. And YouTube, have a good night.
BRB.